The trade convoy went through the gate. A daily occurrence, yet a luxury forbidden for most other species. The gates enabled humanity to travel better and faster than the rest of the galaxy. Outside of gates, travel was turbulent, if turbulence could spread your atoms across multiple dimensions. The gates were fiercely tolled for non-humans, and a bit less for humans, and that was by the gate providers themselves. Hoshizora Tech had a virtual monopoly on gate travel ever since their invention by the company's founder, Akagi. Humanity had traveled using fold drives, like the rest of the galaxy, for its first few decades of interstellar travel until Akagi. It was a variant based on a Alcubierre drive, yet stretched between two generators light years away from each other. This had enabled humanity's reach to explode exponentially. Human traders could reach the stars 10 times faster than their non-human counterparts. Earth and colonial governments had initially fiercely opposed Hoshizora's monopoly, but as the sole manufacturer and maintainer of fold gates, the company clung to the galaxy's most lucrative monopoly by their fingernails. Captain, she smirked inwardly at the title, Rebecca Kowalska, confirmed the exit gate for her convoy on her console, while the gate before her started glowing. In the early days, all ships had been manned. Communication delays made semi-autonomous ships impossible. Autonomous ships had suffered too many accidents for public support to decriminalize them, even after all these years. Her convoy consisted of semi-autonomous unmanned ships, all slaved to her terminals, a term dredged from the 20th or 21st century that still unsettled many. Officially, the nomenclature was simpler. 1 primary freighter, the one she was on, 6 secondary freighters, and 2 secondary frigates as escort. No verb for the action, though. The gate in front of her was still charging up. Rebecca tapped her fingers, the soft clack of her nails against the console the only sound in the quiet cockpit. A few months ago, her company, Compagnie Générale Interplanétaire, CGI, had introduced a new fleet of ships. She'd been overjoyed. Newer ships might have meant fresher food, better facilities, a bit more comfort on the long hauls. But instead of a crew of 10, they'd introduced 2-person crews. Last month, that had been cut down to 1, a cost-saving measure. 1 person, she thought bitterly, as if she was a glorified office assistant. The allure of space that had attracted her when she was younger now felt hollow. There was no sense of adventure left. The silence surrounding her, heavy and suffocating, was a testament to the lost camaraderie that once made these voyages bearable. Her stomach clenched. She could practically hear the company execs' voices, detached and cold. More efficient, less overhead. As if they all hadn't mattered. The gate hummed as it powered up, and Rebecca's gaze flipped back to the screen, the bright blue swirl of the gate pulling her thoughts back to the present. A small sigh escaped her lips, barely audible. She hated how easy it was for the weight of it all to just settle, quiet and insistent, in the pit of her stomach. She closed her eyes and leaned back into her captain's chair, while all 9 vessels were propelled beyond the speeds of light into the mythical realm of neither here nor there. The countdown on her screen started. 3 days. She opened up an unfinished book in her console. The History of the Early Space Age, 1957 to 2069. The geopolitical tensions and the feeling of being on the frontier in that era had, as a child, made her feel the space was a playground, just for adults. How wrong she had been. She started reading where she left off. The final Apollo mission in 1972. She finally got to the Artemis missions and the start of the moon colonization, when the travel countdown beeped that it was 5 minutes to gate closure. She mentally prepared for the jerking moment that happened when they left fold space and returned back to reality. The countdown hit 0. Rebecca gritted her teeth as the ship lurched. Her stomach made the now familiar lurching sound. A fraction of all species, unfortunately her too, had fold motion sickness. No pill could stop it, but by now, the feeling was an old companion. The only one she had left. She laughed bitterly. The swirling blue of fall space shattered, stars snapping back into fixed points. The hum of the drive cut out, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. The stars had returned with all their majesty. After a confirmation of her identity, forms, and cargo, she regained navigational control from space traffic control once she cleared the area near the gate. She tuned into the lane, a frequency that solo freighter pilots, now most in the industry, used to break up the monotony of long subfold journeys. The frequency was universal, but the range a single ship could pick up on was limited. Hearing silence, she spoke into her mic. "This is Ride. Any ears in this band?" Her call sign was a homage to the first female US astronaut, Sally Ride. The silence continued. It wasn't as if this route was really popular. The only thing nearby was a few young colonies, her target. "Ride, this is Redshift. Thought you'd given up on the corporate slave lifestyle." She winced. Redshift, a freelancer famous for redlining his engines to finish flights faster, was an old companion of hers. On the lane, that is. "Redshift. At least I don't have to travel the galaxy begging for contracts." The familiar dance began anew. "Touché as usual," came Redshift's reply, accompanied by a faint cackle. "But I get the freedom to choose my own misery, so there's that." Rebecca let out a small laugh, the sound a rare break in the silence that had shrouded her. "Yeah, I suppose there's something to be said for that. Still, must be nice not—" "Hold on. I'm getting something." Redshift interrupted her. The other speaker was out of her range, so she could only hear his side of the conversation. "Manta Ray, this is Redshift. I'm solo heading to that Indonesian Vakras colony. Vrakatar, I think. Is the way clear?" "That's the one." A pause later. "Copy that, Manta Ray. Thanks for the warning. Right? Are you also heading to Vrakita?" "Yeah, doing a short stop over there before heading on. Why?" "Manta Ray warned us that it's a red lane. There are a few ghosts and dropped cans on the way." Rebecca winced. Ghosts, ships without transponders, were usually pirates. Dropped cans or abandoned cargo to boost speed. Redshift continued. "I'm going to go through New Wells first. It's clear per Manta Ray." "I have a stop over there as well. Can you do a burn my way? My frigates can cover you in the convoy." "Thanks for that, Ride. Burning now. Intercept course is 13 hours until visual range. I'll sync my nav systems then. Who knows? You might even be a pirate." "As if. A pirate would have blown you up after hearing you talk," she huffed. "I believe I have more charm than that. Anyway, see you then. I need my beauty sleep. Redshift out."